Hello folks, GWT here, West Truther channel and Wonderman channel on YouTube and West Truther channel on Minds.com. Got a mixed bag. An obelisk. I guess most of y'all know what an obelisk is, but an obelisk on a church means that is a pharaonic Masonic church. It's a church of the Templars. The god Osiris. Just remember what I said about the obelisk. Let me run this by you real quick. There's places in the Bible story book that says some stuff about 7 heads. I'm talking Revelation 12:3 and Revelation 13:1. Talks about 7 heads and 10 horns. Well, Switzerland has 7 presidents and 10 ministries. So you could compare that to a beast because the Swiss octagon controls everything. The FBI is saying that if any conspiracy theorist leaves over 3 comments on Facebook with angry faces, woohoo, that they will come to your house and disarm you, and then they will tear your house apart looking for other reasons to put you away or to put you down because you're a friggin' terrorist. And then they'll just go on to the next person on their list, folks. I say as much bad stuff on Facebook as I can. I really do. And I just think that some of them know what might happen if they go to the wrong person's door with their tribulous, knick-knacking, New World Order, Masonic bullshit, Nazism. There's some people that they're not going to push that off on too easy if that person is in a defensive position. You are forced to comply or be put down, or you're going to be shackled to the castle. The pharaonic aristocracy has many, many castles that they will shackle you to. And if y'all are not familiar with that terminology, being shackled to the castle. Constellations. Here is something I want to say about the flat earthers. Now, you people say nice things about some of the flat earthers, and I'm not really trying to say anything bad about them directly, but indirectly, they're all working for the friggin' government. How many flat earthers out there is telling you you should be friggin' pissed? Besides me, how many other flat earthers ever tell you you should be upset at the bullshit you have been taught and made, convinced to believe? And now when you argue with a flat earther who is an awakened person, you're making a fool out of yourself because that's what they have programmed you to do. And then you resent the person who's right, who you don't want to admit. So that keeps y'all apart, separate and conquer. That's what they do. You are forced to comply, or you're going to be put down or shackled to the castle. Now, I want to say something about them flat earthers. They don't talk about all the constellations that can be viewed in a single day from the surface of the flat earth. All of those, the whole sky rotates above our head. Not in a perfect circle, I don't think. I think it's a little oblong, out of circle. But everything rotates above our heads. So all of the constellations from different places all across the flat earth, which could be, folks, I'm going to tell you something. The flat earth could be as much as 30 to 50,000 miles in diameter. We're in an enclosed system such as a big glass beaker or a glass sphere, and the flat surface somewhere in that spherical containment, which is an electromagnetic force field, is the flatness of everything. And that flatness from one side to the other side, or that way to this way, could be 30 or 50,000 miles. And then on the other hand, it might not be more than 2 or 3 feet on someone's experiment table in a laboratory. And we all might be so teeny, weeny, tiny small that we can't even comprehend how little we actually are. But anyway, I'm just saying, hypothetically, that's a scenario, that's a possibility, a scenario. But the fad of the flat earthers, and that's what these government flat earthers have created. They've created a society kick, a fad of flat earthers, like a secret society almost. And they don't say nothing about all the constellations that can be seen in one day. That is a little bit too declarative. Or the size, they don't try to tell anybody how big that they think the earth might be. I mean, you can guess all you want to, I just already did. But even though everything circles almost in a complete circle above our heads, all things semicircle above us, and they're in different levels, they're in different layers, they're in different thicknesses, and some of them are moving fast and some of them are moving slow. But one of the most important things for you people to remember is they're like the gears in a wind-up clock. If you take a clock with all of the gear, with 100 gears in it, and it's all set in steel, and you reach in with a magic marker and you make a straight line down through the middle of everything, then you start that clock to move, and that straight line is going to disappear and go in all kinds of directions. That's what it does above our head, and it will realign itself at some point, just like clock gears return. Folks, let me tell you something. In the end, what is going to torment most people is not the sounds of your enemies, but it will be the silence of your friends. And believe you me, I've already found that out. You know, folks, the United States is spending billions of dollars in vaccines that are being delivered to starving people that have no food and no water, but yet they're delivering vaccines by the billions of dollars worth. And then the media is saying, what a great friggin' government we got to do this. What a great medical team. What a great bunch of scientists and researchers. Folks, y'all, if you had any idea how terribly deceived you were about these government giveaways. They weigh nothing but death, destruction, and despair. Saturday or Sunday, about a week ago, the Gaza Strip and military positions and some of the crops and livestock fields of Gaza, the Gaza area, were all bombed, and they were bombed by Israel and the United States, folks. It's the Israeli people and the United States people that's over there killing the Palestinians. Israelis, the occupying forces of Israelis are going into the refugee camps and finding the 14 to 17-year-old boys, give or take a year, and they're cutting their throats of these male kids. Has any of the media in America told y'all about that? God did not take the land from the Palestinians and give it to the Israeli Jews. That is written in a book. Those Israelis are living on Palestinian land. All of Canaan pretty much was the Palestinians. The Jews out of Egypt. Moses and all of them people. Oh yeah, we're God's chosen people. Annihilate everybody else who God made. For some reason, He made them to annihilate. And then give us the land. And now the United States. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Israel is a criminal state and protected by the Swiss Octagon and the United States military, both of who work for the Swiss Octagon of the Templar Masonic Nazis. Now, I've got something to say about the Nazis and Nazi sympathizers a little bit later. The metals in the chemical and metallic particles of the chemtrails spread in the sky block the antibiotics from working in your body, and they attack your immune system and break it down, so you will be more susceptible to illness and disease. And in due time, some of the corporate private armies will be pitted together against each other, because they're not going to have anybody else to pick on, folks. So the bigwigs are going to have their team go up against another one of the bigwigs' teams. That's what it's going to come down to. In some places, the civilians will all be subdued. Some is going to want more, and they're going to get it. So many will become nutcases or drug addicts, cripples, victims, and murderers, all just. And they're doing it all for just a few. So they're going to be all these bad things to you and everybody else, and they're doing it for just a few who think that they're better than you. They're gods compared to you. They're gods. And the 50-year-old detective has been murdered who found out about the alleged murder of Epstein. They killed the detective. I think that name is right, Epstein. But they killed that detective with a virus. Came down ill, and in a few days, adios amigo. In the movie called Toxic Skies, I don't know if any of y'all have seen it or not, a line said, in that movie, one of the script lines said, that at any moment there are 4,000 planes spraying metals and chemicals in the air above our heads. Do you think that's something to be taken lightly? I know it's in a movie, and the name of the movie is Toxic Skies, but any of you are interested in a real story behind a movie script, you need to see that movie called Toxic Skies. And just remember, they're going to let you know a few things that's going to razzle and dazzle you, but they're not going to tell you everything. They ain't going to come clean. They're only going to give you tidbits. Now, not too many people taking this stuff about the chemtrails and the elements that are being spread over all of us, and we don't have any protection from the diseases and the viruses that they're causing and are in. They're administering those viruses to us steadily, and the people have been getting sick, and the death rate has been increasing since the 80s and the 90s. And many diseases are spread by the friggin' planes over top of your heads. Now, what sort of a pig is a pilot or a mechanic that has any hand in the chemical elements and the metallic elements that are deadly harmful to life and being spread all over top of life? What kind of a pig helps out for that to get done? All effing life, and all harmful to all of the life, and it's harmful to all of the sources of life for each and everything. All the things that live, they live off of other substances, and all substances are being poisoned and contaminated by the chemtrails. And you folks are not taking this serious at all. GWT.